I always forget to unmute myself. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining. This is Vimoh Live. It's a live stream that happens on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and Saturdays at 8 p.m. On Wednesdays, I read comments and I reply. On Saturdays, I take callers. For doing that, I will share a link in the chat momentarily. It will be pinned to the top of the chat. You can click on it and you can join the live stream by audio or video. क्या हो गया? नहीं. Tech problems. Hold on. Uh, yes, there's the link. I have pinned it to the chat, and you can click on it, and you can come join the queue. आज कोई वैसा टॉपिक नहीं है. Normally we talk about atheism, contemporary politics, uh, socio-cultural issues and stuff. So whatever is on your mind, you can come and discuss. कुछ लोग चैट पे पूछ रहे हैं आज साइंटिस्ट आएगा कि नहीं. In case anyone is confused, that is about an Instagram post I made about which was a screenshot of some messages that someone who was a scientist allegedly sent me and said that what he said, stop spreading your half-wit theories, half-wit ideas. And then I said, sir, please come to the live stream and talk to me and explain to me stuff. And he said, I only talk to people who are smarter than me or as smart as me. So I don't know why he had messaged me if he thought I was not worth talking to. But yeah, the whole point today is to talk to people, and the link has been shared. Some people are joining, but before that, let me just tell people that whoever is joining, go to the private chat section and tell me the topic you want to talk about, so I can make a good choice of topics that adds to the show. Ashish wants to talk about capitalism, and whoever else is here, please also do the same. Go to the private chat section and tell me your topic. Surya says, responding to my question on proportional representation, you said you shared a reel related to that. I dug up your Insta and found it. It was called Legal Reform. Intent matters. I have two questions after watching that. How much does intent matter in comparison to its consequences? When it comes to legal reform, what do we do when intent was a net negative but cons were net positive? Okay, this will probably require more thought than I am prepared to engage in today. So let's talk about it some other time. Uh, Anil Kapoor says, wanted to join today. Don't think I would be able to make it. Okay, Anil, the stream happens every Saturday. You can come. By the way, there might be some complications with the stream next Saturday, but I'll tell you about that later. Next Saturday, it won't be a regular old stream. Laksh says, what's your opinion about David Goggins' method about don't take rest day, no recovery needed? I have no idea what you're talking about. If you want to talk about it, come on screen, we will talk. Then he says, I recently became atheist. And thanks to you, my doubts are cleared. I'm starting to think from a rational mind about everything. Thanks, Vimoh. Thanks, Rakshit. Sorry, Laksh. Stream elements. People are waiting for the scientists. They're not going to come, guys. Everyone who's on Twitch also, welcome. This is also going live on Twitch at twitch.tv/The Vimoh Show. Wait, I'll just show you the URL. Kidhar hai? Yeah. Twitch.tv/The Vimoh Show is also somewhere that you can go and follow the show. So let me wait, किसी ने कुछ मेंशन किया क्या? ये किस चीज़ का जवाब है? Roro Noah Zoro says, Modi at every event, hum first, humko sab aata hai, and when told to do press conference, bangan. For those who did not get that, check Aditya Kumar Began on YouTube. P.S. My sarcasm needs a little work. Okay. Yeah, the US government press corps apparently asked for media access, and we told them in very uncertain, no uncertain terms, दैट ये बस मेला है, ये मीना बाजार है, यहाँ स्टॉल लगेंगे, तुम लोग को घूमना है घूम लो, डेमोक्रेसी वेमोक्रेसी की उम्मीद करना छोड़ दो. So that's what they are talking about. Taranga says, no, he said he discusses with people smarter than him and educates people less smart than you, and that you are neither, hence not accepting your invite made no sense. हाँ, वो तो मतलब हो जाता है, क्या करें अब? मतलब बीच-बीच में ये होता है कि sometimes I try to not pressure people into coming, because if I say himmat hai to aa, then it's kind of mean spirited, and people sometimes just call that out and say I won't come because you're ill mannered, which they should, and that's not the way to do it. Sometimes I do, I get angry, and sometimes I do, it's okay. But mostly what I do is I say, come, we will talk. Even if I say debate, some people get angry, right? So I asked him very politely, sir, come and we'll talk, and he was like, no. So बड़े साइंटिस्ट है, क्या कर सकते हैं? देयर इज अ सुपर चैट फ्रॉम Shahulud. Hello, Mo. Been a long time follower of this channel. Nice to see it growing steadily. Thank you for the Dune reference, and also for the contribution. Thank you. Let's see. Private chat में जाते हैं, देखते हैं कौन किस बारे में बात करना चाहते हैं. Okay. We have a surprise guest with us. It's Pranav. Hi, Pranav. Were you talking about yourself?
Hello, hello, folks.
What is up?
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
up?
Just 1 second. I have to go. There's someone at my door, and there's no one
Okay, cool,
else
cool,
at
cool,
home.
cool. Come back. I'll take you
Just
back.
pull me
चलो.
out. I'll come back for the.
हाँ हाँ ठीक है. उसके घर पे कोई आ गया. You said let's talk on stream. Jasim Wani. Hold on. Jasim किधर है? Wait, Jasim से पहले. अरे मेघनाथ तुम
Hello.
क्या हो रहा है आज? जिसे देखो चला रहा है.
I was like, अरे प्रणव भी आ गया तो फिर चलो.
क्या चल रहा है? मतलब like did you want to do something, talk about something specific?
Yeah, you were like someone asked about the Modi press
हाँ.
conference thing, so I came for
या
that.
हाँ बोलो ना क्या है?
No, why does Modi not do press conferences? Someone,
I have my
why
own
they were
theories,
asking.
but if you have
Bata,
some
bata.
insight, please share it. No, my theory is that he does not want to be seen. Like he is very aware of the frame, right? Where he
Hmm.
stands, what he looks at, like. So if
Hmm.
there is a picture where somebody is asking him a question, he doesn't want that. So
Yeah.
it's not that he can't answer questions. It's not that he doesn't want. I mean, he doesn't want obviously, but his larger strategy is that he does not want to put out the sight of him asking questions, because that image will send out the message that he can be questioned, and that is what he wants to discourage.
Legit theory, but my thing goes a little further than that. I feel like he doesn't have the ability to do it. I feel like
I think he
he's
has
so
the ability to
used
do
to.
it. I think
I
he has the
don't think so
ability.
anymore because I feel like it's also like he's so carefully controlling his personal image all
Huh.
the time
Hmm.
that he sort of doesn't want to give that away, give that control away, right? So I
Hmm.
think him and everyone else around him has sort of convinced themselves that all he needs to do is speak. He doesn't need to answer questions. He doesn't need to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
challenged, etc.
So
Because
that I
everyone
think
is
that
voting
is
based on that.
I think that is conscious. That's the message they're sending out to everyone, that your only job as a person in the media or a citizen who's aware and asking questions, your only job is to listen and obey. Because if I
Hmm.
answer a question, then there will be another one, then there will be another one, then there will be apparently accountability of some sort, and I cannot encourage that. But if
Hmm.
you look at his Republic Day speech,
Hmm.
where there were the pauses between his sentences were shorter and he was talking impromptu apparently, notebook se dekh ke, you saw a little bit of what he was like before 2014. He can.
Ah, he can.
But it is
I don't think
entirely
he
possible.
needs to.
It is entirely possible that he's lost, practice, right? But if things come to push, if push comes to shove, then he totally can, I think.
I think so. That's the thing. No, you start believing in your own lies. You start believing
Yeah.
in your own sort of myths also, right? It's. I feel like
Hmm.
so. 10 years, right? 10 years is not a short period of time. For
Hmm.
10 years, if you don't do a press conference, if you do only scripted interviews, if you basically thrive on just giving speeches and you get results in the form of votes, I feel like at one point you start believing that, yeah, this is what I need to do now. This
Oh,
is
that
it.
is true. I think he has totally bought his own legend.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
in
absolutely. And
startups,
everyone
people
has.
like, I at least had one boss who used to say, don't drink your own Kool-Aid. Like the
Uh,
marketing stuff that is being put out, it's for other people to think about us. If you fall
mm,
into the trap of believing it, then you're doomed.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Hold on. There is a super chat from Shiryasha. Thank you for the Exodus. Look, there's Tofu. Even he doesn't want to miss out on today's all-star stream. Thank you, Shiryasha. Let's see. Meghdad, do you want to stay on screen when I take someone?
Sure, absolutely. I'm here.
Hold on. Hold
I
on.
just I
Let's.
just came to bomb this stream. So
Oh, okay. That's okay.
yeah.
Bomb away. Let's take Jasim. Hi, Jasim. You're online.
Hello,
Hello.
hello, Vimoh. I have been like your watcher since like 1 year.
Okay.
So I was an agnostic. I have been an agnostic for a few years,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked you a question in DMs like, is there any moral reason to be? Is there any rational reason to be moral?
Is there any rational reason to be moral?
Yes,
Sure.
like
It creates
atheism
a
is
healthier society for all of us to live in.
like if you don't fear a god, for example, in atheism, like we don't
Mhm.
believe in a god, right?
Hmm.
So if you see a person who is, like on the road and got into an accident, like what is the motivation for you to help him and,
There are
like
many.
leave your
There are.
work?
So here's the thing: if you lived in a society where people were dying on the road and you were doing nothing, will people trust you?
No, they will not.
Will your life be better as a result of people not trusting you?
No, it will not be better.
So this is the rational reason. If we help people because there is something called the social contract. It has been written about in political literature also. Social contract means
Okay,
there is
okay.
this unspoken agreement between all people that we are going to be there for each other. And that is why
That
people
is,
like to belong to certain societies. If there is a society where everyone was exploiting each other, then that
yes.
society people will not want to be a part of. If there is a society which has a reputation of people helping each other, more people would want to be a part of it. That is the, I think, morality creates that framework.
Yeah, like if you are at a place where nobody will see you helping a person, so will you still do it or not? Like if,
I will,
I'm
because
not saying yeah, I'm
it
saying
becomes a habit, right? It becomes a habit. It's not as if
okay.
every time I see someone in danger, I'm thinking, oh wow, someone is in danger. I better protect my reputation by helping him. Otherwise, tomorrow people will not help me. So it becomes a habit. If
Yeah.
if children are told to be moral right from childhood, even when they're out there somewhere where somebody needs help and they don't help them, that pressure, that teaching, that general impulse to help people is already there because childhood बचपन से सिखाया गया है.
Yes, that is true. But what if someone is like extremely powerful and they don't believe in religions? Like in previous times, people used to believe in religions. So even the powerful people, resented exploiting, the weak. But now, if people don't believe in a religion, won't
Hmm.
they just go for it and exploit people? Like they don't fear a
So
god.
so back when people used to believe in God and higher powers, etc., they were still cruel rulers, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
now that people don't believe in God, there are still people who are kind. So that does
yeah,
not.
that is.
So the line you're drawing is not like a solid line on is side पे religion or morality है और इस side पे atheism or immorality है. Things happen.
Yeah,
People are good or bad, and they can be good while being religious or atheist, and they can be bad while being religious or atheist.
yeah.
There
I
is,
think you're right.
sorry, can I
हाँ
just
हाँ sure,
interrupt
make
and
that.
ask a
Come on.
question? Yeah, I was just wondering, so like your basic assumption here is that religion is the one that gives you morality, some sense of morality, right?
I mean, yeah, it like, gives you a fear that if you don't do moral things and you believe in religion, then there is a God that will punish you. But else,
Hmm.
like, it is a pretty hard to find a rational reason to be moral. Like, I didn't know it. Now Vimoh told, so I think that is a pretty good answer.
But then, like, is there a possibility where you think that both of them can be disconnected? That there can just be the moral values. You don't need like a religion to basically
Yeah,
believe in
there
those
are
moral
some cases like normal social interactions. Like if you be nice to
values.
people, people will be nice to you. So that is something that
Precisely. Yeah.
religion isn't.
Yeah.
But then
If
when
I
science
may add
approaches
one
also
thing,
have.
uh, I don't know your name. I'm sorry, I came
His
late.
name is Jasim. Jasim.
Jasim.
Jasim, okay. Jasim, so don't you think it's a very childish thing to have a fear of punishment be a motivation for being good? Like, isn't
I
it
mean, yeah,
better for
I
personal
don't
good?
believe in
Wait, wait, wait.
religion
Yeah.
I'm,
myself.
So just for clarity, this is Jasim presenting a hypothetical scenario. It's not something he believes. He's
okay.
just asking.
Oh, fair
So,
enough. Fair enough. No, no, no. I mean, absolutely.
okay. So I'm just saying, uh, if I was afraid of punishment and that's the only reason I'm being good, am I actually not? Am I not a bad person?
I mean, you're good, right? So it like doesn't matter what you think. It matters just what you do. So if you do good things, so I think in a society, if you want to like stabilize a society, isn't religion extremely important to do that? Do you guys think so or not?
But are my motivations of doing good driven by
Yeah.
this fear of punishment? Isn't that
Yes,
a
yes.
very childish understanding of morality also? Like
Yeah,
at
there is a,
home,
sorry, Pranav, there is a comment which is actually capturing what you're saying. Vishaka is saying religion is a set of moral stories told by elders to so that people follow the right path. Like that fear
I
of
love quotation
reprisal.
marks.
and authority, right?
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah, okay. So, like, I was just like, I had a debate a few days ago with a person who is studying psychology, and she
Hmm.
told me, like, religion is extremely important for, society. That's why I wanted to ask and, like, clear up
Okay.
some questions. Yeah.
Cool. Oh,
And thanks a lot for having me.
I hope this was helpful, Jasim.
Yes. I want to say hi to Science is Dope, though. Like, I've
Hi.
Oh,
been watching.
you just had an entire conversation with him.
I also want to say hi to Science is Dope. Hi, Science is Dope.
Hello,
We
man.
haven't
I
said
also want
hi.
to say
Okay.
hi. Hi,
Some of
Science
us
is Dope.
on a private chat,
Okay.
Holy Trinity.
So,
Assemble.
Holy
so
Holy Trinity ऐसा
I'll.
है गॉड यहाँ पे कल्ट बन रहा है. Thank you, Jasim. Thank you. Can
Okay.
I move on to
Thank you.
someone else?
Thank you.
Jasim, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Chalo, chalo. Bye bye. Thank you. So that
Yeah,
was
Meghnad, I had no idea
Jasim.
you were also planning to
I was going to
surprise.
bomb this stream anyway, because I mean, I did a member stream, and then I was like, I'll just come and surprise
Oh,
Vimoh.
you did a
So
member stream today?
I did, just did it.
How long was it?
2 hours.
Oh, wow. What all did you cover?
So like it was like a workshop per se. So I showed people my script of the next
Hmm.
video. I asked
Okay.
them how I was thinking about it, what is the idea that I'm going with, and the new series that I'm starting, which I'm editing right
Hmm.
now. So I showed them that as well, and then we watched a little bit of Anand Ranganathan. Kyunki members only, so we can watch it without
Oh,
copyright strikes.
you don't get a copyright thing in
I don't
if you're
monetize
doing
it,
members
right?
only.
Doesn't matter. I don't monetize it.
So you start a stream and you play a
Hmm.
video from some other YouTube channel on it,
Ha ha ha
and
ha.
your live stream does not get shut down,
No, it doesn't.
because I have heard stories from people whose live streams were shut down.
Mine was shut down once when I was streaming the Republic Day parade.
Huh, yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, and that
Yeah.
like leaves a mark, right? My
Hmm.
bigger problem is like
I
I heard from Meghnad last time that he was going to do a members only stream, and I was thinking, hey, maybe I can do something like that, like tell people about my process, and then I realized I don't have a process.
By the
My
way, I have to
process.
go again. Someone at my door again.
Yeah, I've
Okay, cool, cool,
heard.
cool, cool. When you come back, I'll take you back in. Pranav is having a busy day. So
Yeah.
my thing is I do a live stream and then people come and ask questions, and at the end of it I look at the topics, like all the things that people asked, all the things we talked about, and I make a headline and I change the thumbnail and I upload that. So guys, if in chat, if you want to help me out when today's stream is ending, suggest titles for it. Right, I'll just choose one if it's a good one and I'll put it in the YouTube title. मेरे लिए थोड़ा कम काम होगा. Right, let's see who else. Jasim is done. Simple Toad says, I want to ask about reservations, how people in college are cursing SCSTs, transgender suffering from disease, and how can I find what I really want to do in life? Simple Toad. Hold on. Simple Toad, go on. You're on live.
Hi, am
Hello.
I audible?
You're audible. Go on.
Hi, Vimoh. Hi, Meghnad.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I recently got enrolled to a college in Delhi University, and a professor over there explained why do we actually need reservation, and I wasn't really convinced at all. He,
What did the professor say?
I'll tell you. He said that reservation was introduced by upper caste people
Hmm.
to let lower caste people be lower caste people. I mean, to let them
What?
not develop. This is what he literally said, and
Was
that's
this professor like where is this professor existing in the caste hierarchy?
his surname is basically Ambedkar. So
Acha.
I assume, yeah.
I think
So I
the
think,
statement that reservation was introduced by upper caste people itself is a bit problematic because
and that too,
your
and after that, he went on to say that uh, the low caste people never asked for it, and
Mhm.
I was like, then who is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar? Then I
Yeah,
think
that's
he had
weird. I
no
don't know.
answer.
I don't understand
Yeah,
what your professor's point was. But my point is,
yeah.
uh, uh, sometimes
Hmm.
the manifestation that emancipation takes, like if you want to like end a centuries old problematic practice, you sometimes have to come up with methods that are not expressly demanded, because they cannot be demanded. If someone does not have a voice, how will they ask for emancipation, right?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
first of all, the idea that upper caste people gave it is problematic because your rights, my rights, your professor's rights, everyone's rights come from the constitution.
Hmm.
And I don't think it is fair to say that the constitution is the work of upper caste people, because it just reinforces the idea कि हम हिंदुओं ने इनको देश में रहने दिया वगैरह वगैरह. It
Hmm.
doesn't work like that. It's just weird.
And
So
also,
what else?
my
Ah,
my colleagues in college are very ignorant about why do we actually have reservations. They every
hmm,
day come up with reasons like they're already 75% of the population, and
hmm.
we're supposed to be the minority in the country, and they're getting reservation for some reason. They're ignorant, completely ignorant about caste discrimination or the reasons for reservation.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately, that ignorance is not uncommon, but hopefully, with enough people talking about it, enough people spreading awareness about it, more people will become
no,
aware.
when I told them
Ah,
about that caste discrimination based on caste still happens in many parts in India. They're like,
hmm.
we have never seen it, we've never read in any newspapers, or you know, they themselves
So
haven't
there are
discovered.
two possibilities, right? Either these people live on Mars, or
Hmm.
they lie about not reading newspapers. Because I don't think it is possible to exist in modern social media landscape and not be aware of
Yeah,
all the things that are happening. Were they not aware that someone got urinated on a couple of weeks ago,
exactly,
or that
exactly.
or that people are routinely murdered for drinking water from the so-called wrong place?
Yeah, I've
So
heard of
you're
those
you're
cases,
not
and
you're not you're not talking about people who are unaware. I think you're talking to liars.
yeah, maybe. And they're like,
Yeah.
we ourselves never knew about our caste since childhood or even a
Huh.
few years
Yeah.
back. I
So
think
that's a
that's a
good point.
privilege to
Yeah,
not
yeah,
know
exactly.
about
Their
one's caste.
caste privilege has already translated into social mobility, right? It's not
Exactly.
like they have to go somewhere and say मैं मिश्रा हूँ मुझे ये नौकरी दो. it
Uh-huh.
it is so it is so embedded in society that they don't have to do it, right? They
Hmm.
just go somewhere, and the infrastructure, the casteist infrastructure, is already in place, and they just take the benefit of it. Without It is so embedded that they get benefits from it without sometimes being aware of it.
Hmm.
So the solution to that also, I think, is more
The
awareness,
funny thing,
calling them out.
sorry,
Huh.
just interrupting, and the one thing I was thinking about also on these lines is that so if a person is born in privilege, right,
Hmm.
like let's say a Brahmin family, pretty
Hmm.
rich, semi rich, jo bhi hai, middle class, jo bhi hai, but there is like a privileged man, like all the things, right, like me. So if you have someone like that, and they go into the world, and those belief systems which they have grown up with are challenged, I feel like there is a reaction. And what
Hmm.
I'm sorry, I missed your name.
Simple toad.
Simple Toad. What Simple Toad is pointing out is um, someone, like, he described someone who just doesn't like that to be challenged. If I'm
Hmm.
not wrong, like
Hmm.
he whenever he has to face his own privilege, whenever he's questioned about his own privilege, he will lash out, or he will just come up with random ass theories that he will fill your head with. I think it's that what is happening. I might
Hmm.
be wrong, but
I know, I agree. And my next question was about people claiming that transgender people or homosexual people are actually suffering from a disease, and these things don't actually exist
oh
and are
god,
against the
Well,
nature.
that's just
So,
unscientific.
that's
That
so
is just
outdated
unscientific.
also now.
There is outdated, obviously, but there's this entire genre of short video content that is popularizing the idea that even if you know uh, like I'm not transphobic, I don't hate trans people, I think they're having problems and we should cure them. This idea is also not new. People have been trying to quote unquote cure gay people for a long time, and
Hmm.
all the scientific literature on this, all the sociological literature on this is against them. Tell them you're sorry, but this is just
hmm,
demonstrably wrong.
yeah, I
There
know.
have been studies done. There have been the most ready resource I send to people about transsexuality is a video by Forrest Valkai called "Sex and Sensibility." If you have not watched it, please watch it.
What's the
Whoever
name?
tells
I'll
you
write it down.
sex and sensibility. If you just search for
Okay,
sex
on
and
YouTube.
sensibility, you'll find a, yeah, on YouTube, a video by Forrest Valkai.
I
Yeah.
also have
Hmm.
a recommendation for you. ContraPoints did a very good video. No,
Hmm.
ContraPoints also did a video, but also Philosophy Tube. So
Hmm.
the person who ran the Philosophy Tube channel, they had a operation, and they are a trans person, and they're
Hmm.
now they had like a surgery. So please watch the video where they actually explain the transformation and why they did the surgery. It's
Hmm.
the most enlightening thing you will ever see. So it's like from a person who is accepting their trans identity and actually acting on it in public, and then actually telling you why, what is the philosophical reasoning that they came up with to do this. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Like, I cried at the end of that video. It's a
Uh,
long video. It's like a 2 hour long video.
Yeah, it's their coming out story, I think.
Yeah, coming out story.
yeah, sure. Sure. And yeah, also, one of my friends in college actually told me, why he supports BJP or why is he a right wing guy. He
Hmm.
said, whenever he lives in a place in UP, and whenever Pakistan wins, his some of his Muslim friends actually support Pakistan, and they, whenever there's an India versus Pakistan match, they support Pakistan, and all those type of arguments which he put forward.
इसके
So,
बारे
what's
में
your
एक रील
take on
बनाया
that?
था कल परसों इंस्टाग्राम पे. आई पोस्टेड अ रील couple of days ago about this
The funny
particular
thing is
thing.
that I was the one who asked the question,
Which question?
the
The
one you
one you made
posted
a
on the
reel
reel.
on. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I made the reel, and then there were a bunch of people in the comments also defending this position that you say your friends have, and I did my
Uh,
best to answer them there also. But beyond a point, you just have to accept that this idea has, like, these are people. Many of those people were not right wingers. Apparently, they said
mm,
I'm not
hmm,
conservative, I'm not right winger, but yeah, this happens. And I'm like, if you are genuinely interested in finding out the data point, the only way you can know about this is that the person who's supporting the Pakistani team, like, there
hmm,
are four people, right? There's a Hindu, Christian,
hmm,
Muslim, and a Buddhist person supporting the Pakistani team, and there are a few people
yeah.
supporting the Indian team. You will not ask anyone that question except the Muslim person, and that is your Hindu privilege. You want to be the guy who demands that people prove their loyalty to you, and you have no right
Hmm,
to do that. The only way you're going to find out whether someone is supporting Pakistan for some reason other than I like this player and this team
yeah.
is
Yeah.
if they told you. And if they did not tell
Hmm.
you, then you don't know and you cannot say that. It's stupid.
No, what if it's actually one of the other reasons, which might
Which
be,
one?
they simply dislike India because they feel they have been discriminated and persecuted by Hindus. So maybe something
Again,
like
that
that,
that does
which
not
makes them
natural. So
support
it's not a
Pakistan.
binary, right? It's not a binary. I was
Hmm.
persecuted in India, therefore I will support Pakistan is not a binary. There are people being
Hmm.
persecuted in Pakistan also. If you watch any amount of Pakistani content, you'll find that there are Pakistani people who are celebrating the Chandrayaan landing, right? And
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
Indian Muslims who say मैं हजार साल हो जाए कभी पाकिस्तान नहीं जाऊंगा. So
Hmm.
this is not a binary. ऐसा नहीं है कि every Indian who gets persecuted in India automatically thinks Pakistan is the land of opportunity. They would rather go to America. Nobody
Hmm.
thinks
True.
of Pakistan when they're like, okay, yeah, I have two options in the world, India or Pakistan. I'll choose Pakistan. That has not happened in a long time. And whoever is telling you this shit, they need to, they need to get their head checked.
even
Yeah.
Pakistanis might not say that.
Yeah.
To be perfectly
You look
honest.
at. I was thinking the other day about how the power of Chandrayaan and ISRO and everything. I was thinking the other day about how space is the only thing that can make a Pakistani proud of India. Like, of all the things, like, religion won't do it, culture won't do it, films won't do it. You can watch the best Indian film and a Pakistani won't say I'm proud of India for having done this. Space will do it because it's a uniting factor. Technology
Yeah.
and
True.
science and our
Arey
shared
boss, I saw like some
experience.
reaction videos of Gadar 2. Pakistanis reacting to Gadar 2. They've lost their shit. Okay, they're like, oh my god, Sunny वापस आ गए. Tara Singh वापस आ रहे हैं. And like हमारा इतना childhood का memory भरा हुआ है इस movie में. Oh my god, part 2. Dude, they're very nice people in general. Like general
Yeah.
people are very nice. They're
And
very happy
I think
about.
generally speaking, people, Indian people might have the first Indiana Jones movie, which was very racist, as a guilty pleasure. You watch it
Hmm.
because of Indiana Jones, and you ignore the part that are racist. I'm sure
Hmm.
it is easier for Indians living in India to do than Indians living in America to do. But things don't always, like, this is an oversimplification. That's what bothers me more than anything else. It's an oversimplification that there is India, there is Pakistan, there are Muslims. They said Pakistan something something. They must be traitors. It's an
Hmm.
oversimplification. Life doesn't work
Hmm.
like that. But Simple Toad, thank you for
So,
all the questions. Can I move on to someone else?
one last question, please. Just a minute or
Okay,
30 seconds.
okay. Make it quick.
Thanks.
Make it. Huh.
Yeah. So my next question was about, some people claim that uh, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Then why not God in the same way?
Okay, I'll give this one to Pranav.
Okay.
So I don't think you can equate energy and God like that. Energy, it's a physical law that says energy cannot be created or destroyed. We have evidence for that. We have reasons. We have actual reasons why we say that law. We cannot equate it to God. Do you have any reason why you would say that?
No, I just, I basically don't belong to a science background, so,
Hmm.
didn't really have much idea on it. So, thought about asking this.
Simple Toad, I
I
would
mean,
say that the
it's
word energy has a
almost like
definition.
asking.
Hmm.
Go
Sorry,
on, Pranav.
Vimoh.
Go on, Pranav.
Yeah,
Go on, Pranav.
it's almost like asking energy can neither be destroyed nor created. So why not phones? Whether or not that answer is actually correct. I mean, why not X? Replace
Hmm.
X with anything. That's what the question is doing. Like,
Hmm.
okay, why not numbers? Why not the number two? That's
Hmm.
kind of like what that question is. That's what I feel like.
Thank you, Pranav. And by the way, big fan. I watch a lot of your videos and appreciate your work. Great
Thanks,
work.
man.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Simple
it.
Toad.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye. That was Simple
There
Toad.
is a
And now, huh,
Sorry, Vimoh, there is a comment which I wanted to read from the
huh,
chat.
go on.
So Olivek is saying that he was very upset with something I said. So I wanted to sort of
Huh, go on,
address
go
that.
on.
कहाँ गया रुक जा एक मिनट मैं कमेंट पढ़ लेता हूँ उसका एक
This,
बार
I saw Meghnad's
हाँ
political hour live stream.
नहीं
Deshmukh
नहीं ये
where you're
वाला
trying to
सॉरी
sugarcoat.
I
Kaun
don't
sa?
want to derail the conversation, but still disgusted by what Meghnad had to say on Stalin's statement on eradicating Sanatan Dharma. You know, the funny thing is, Vimo, I said this, I literally was on your stream before. I
Huh.
started my own and I was looking at you, and I think you were also talking about the same thing. So I somewhat
What did you
repeated.
say?
No, that's the thing. I agreed with him.
Yeah.
I agreed with him.
I
Like
don't know.
I
I don't understand Olivek. If Olivek can, like, I don't know if Olivek has left a comment where he explained why that is
yeah,
a
he has.
problem.
He said that he doesn't agree where because he said that eradicate Sanatan Dharma. So how are you
Huh.
supporting it? Right. So I mean, but
Would Olivek
from my
have the same
understanding,
reaction if someone said eradicate Islam or eradicate Christianity? I think it's a free country. Everyone has the right to say whatever they want.
A, that agreed,
Hmm.
but also B, he later clarified also it's because they turned it into oh isko to genocide karna hai. Like he wants
Huh.
to
So
do a
he didn't say
genocide
that.
of
He
that's
didn't say that.
ridiculous. So he said that I
Yeah.
never said of genocide. He said I
And
want to eradicate.
if he
Yeah.
had said that, neither Meghnad nor I nor Pranav nor anyone else would have been in support of it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. What
Yeah.
he said clarified later is that he was not calling for a genocide. He was just calling
Yeah.
for a destruction of a religion which is responsible for division and strife in the society. Right?
Yeah.
It has
And
created
it
caste
is. It
divisions,
is very much so.
inequality. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, what is not to support in that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only way anyone can be against that statement is by strawmanning,
Hmm.
by making it seem
Which
like
they
he's
did, by the
talking
way. The
about
BJP
genocide.
spokesperson, BJP IT cell head Amit Malviya did strawman it. He said it's about genocide and stuff. And I think
Yeah.
I pointed out in my live stream that Amit Malviya is everything is a genocide to Amit Malviya except genocide.
Hmm.
Mm.
But you know the thing is the Udaynidhi thing. I feel like also people don't have the cultural context also there. No, Tamil Nadu mein to it's a very common thing. You
Common
know,
thing,
like
yeah.
atheism and like and Periyar ke views
Dravidian
with
movement,
Periyar.
Periyar politics, yeah.
Didn't
It's not
Periyar
common.
call it like a disease that needs to be
Something
rooted
like
out or
that. Periyar
something?
said a lot of shit.
A lot of things, yeah.
He said a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Funny thing, they're also very anti-caste. It's very
Yeah.
yeah,
common
yeah.
in in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Like my name, for example, Pranav Radhakrishnan.
Hmm.
Radhakrishnan is not a caste name, it's my dad's name. And most
Hmm.
Keralites and Tamils have their father's name as their surname because they didn't want caste. They wanted to get rid of caste in society by removing it from names.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So,
I
yeah.
have a few friends also who have really weird second names, and I asked them. He said, "No, my dad decided to be anti-caste and named me this." And I
Yeah.
said, "Good." And he said, "No, not good. मेरी जिंदगी बर्बाद होगी इसकी वजह से." Nobody in school would know who I am because, but I suppose that's probably because the schoolmates were looking for caste.
And also like
Uh,
the like across the board, if a religion has practices that are wrong, are discriminatory,
yeah,
are meant to incite violence or like gender violence, which many have, like whatever, take the rights of individual people away, it needs to be called out. And yeah, what's so wrong with that, right? Even if it's Islam, Hinduism, doesn't matter,
yeah,
Christianity.
absolutely, absolutely. कुछ टाइम पहले वो बीजेपी के एक spokesperson थी who said something on a TV channel about Islam and the BJP said, "Yeah, fringe element हम उसको निकाल रहे हैं." I don't think that should
Ah.
have happened to her either. I
Hmm.
don't think that should have happened
Guys,
to her
wait
either.
for my next podcast. I'm talking about exactly
Oh.
this.
If you're going to tease me,
Acha,
then
who
at
did
least
you
tell me
do
who
it
the
with?
guest is.
Yeah.
I have an ex-Muslim on
Okay.
my podcast in
Okay.
the next episode,
Hmm.
and Vimo, you can guess who it is.
Is it
No, don't say it.
the gentleman whose podcast I was on?
Yep, yep,
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah,
I
yep,
cool.
say it now. What is
yep.
this? What is this nonsense, guys? Please.
It's
No,
like
I
everybody knows
wanna
except
keep
me.
the suspense, man.
There is
I
this. I'll tell you that if you
Boy.
just search for,
Uh,
do you want to say his name?
yeah, I think we've said enough. People can, if they want to know, they can just look it
Yeah,
up
yeah,
right
yeah.
now
So
and
tell
huh.
Meghnad
figure it
only
out.
because he's the only
It's
one who doesn't know.
Arif
Apparently,
Hussain. He's an
Okay.
Hussain.
ex-Muslim from Kerala,
Hmm.
and he's
Hmm.
gone through hell, dude. Like
Hell,
because
yeah.
he rejected religion, he's
Hmm.
gone through things like so in Islam, there is a rule that you should not have any sort of relationship with the uh, non-believer. So
Hmm.
the moment he rejected Islam,
Hmm.
his family, including his wife and kids, uh, removed all contact from him,
Fine.
What?
and he
Okay.
can't
Yeah.
Wow.
even legally sue them
There is,
because
in
they're
fact,
just practicing their religious freedom.
Oh wow.
there
So
is in fact
Harsh. Very
an
harsh.
yeah,
article. I'll just recommend. It's on my bookmarks. Pranav, keep talking while I look for it.
yeah, that's what I want to say. Anyway, more details. Wait for
Hmm.
my podcast.
Podcast.
It's a
This is the
very
long
long
one that you
podcast.
did, no?
Yep, yep. It's the same
Oh,
one we talked about that day.
fun, fun,
We
fun,
talked
fun.
about
When
a
is it
lot of
out?
things. Because apart from being an ex-Muslim, he's also
Hmm.
an ex-homeopath. So we talked about alternative medicine.
Ah, right,
He's
right, right.
also an ex-communist. So
Hmm.
we talked about. I mean, I was defending socialism, and he
Hmm.
was on the side of capitalism.
Oh,
So
so it
we
went to
had
all
a
sorts of
debate
wonderful
about that.
places.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I
So
can't
it
Nice.
find
went
it. I'll share it
really
later.
long also.
But this is a good point to move to our next caller, who is
Yeah.
Ashish. Ashish, you're online and you want to talk about capitalism.
Hey, yeah, Vimoh, can you
Hey,
guys hear me?
we can hear you. Go on.
Yeah, so yeah, the Trinity is here, and yeah, I think this is the
Please don't
perfect
call us
audience
that.
to talk about the capitalism. So yeah, the question is again, is capitalism good or bad, right? So
Hmm.
in my opinion, capitalism has advantages of
Hmm.
mobilizing wealth towards a particular cause.
Hmm.
But since I think you have opposed it many times, Vimo,
Hmm.
saying that it's based on profit.
Hmm.
My theory on that is that certain ideas or innovations have to be tried and executed, even for us to know that they could be profitable and all that, right?
I agree.
So yeah, so
Huh.
the point being that I work in a company where we developed softwares like vaccine management system or
Hmm.
safely return to workplace. So we
Hmm.
were able to do these things because of capitalism, because the company mobilized these people. They allowed them to work on this product, and we were able to achieve it, right? So the point being is, so another example, right? So something like internet mobile packs, they were hugely expensive in India
Got
some
it.
time back, right? And
Hmm.
because of capitalism and fair regulations, what is happening is that you could say that this scenario is also bad, that hey, people are watching a lot of mobile, they are not spending time with family. But
No,
think
no,
of a
no. That
kid,
is
right?
not a see. That is
Yeah,
not the primary. I'll just point
yeah,
something out because we're passing it by. That is not the primary argument against capitalism. I am not
right.
saying innovation should not happen. I'm saying profit seeking is not the best way to make sure that innovation happens, because profit seeking often, like I'm not saying you are assuming it, but the assumption behind all supportive arguments of capitalism is that the free market is a place where the only motivation behind people doing things is you know what is best. And it is not. It is often the reason things often happen in a market often have to do with what is
Yeah,
being promoted as good. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of products in the market that you know about which are more expensive than they should be,
right.
and many products which are entirely useless but are sold at such high rates that it cannot possibly for the good of anyone except the hobbyist with a lot of spare money.
Right. True. I agree with you. But on that point, right? So capitalism has a flavor to it wherein, so free market is one thing. But
Hmm.
what I would say is like a kind of a fair capitalism thing is that you have somebody like a governing body, like a government
Hmm.
who is setting up the rules
Hmm.
and who is
Regulation, you mean?
allowing regulation. Yes, the
Hmm.
rules. So simple example, right? That if there is a some natural resource and a pond or something, you allow people to pollute it may get polluted and all, but if you allow companies to use it the way they want, they will use it that bad way. But
Hmm.
if you have regulation around it, or if you penalize people for doing that,
Hmm. Hmm.
penalize the companies to do that, then you have a way of allowing the mobilization of resources to happen. And capitalism allows you to do that. So there is another example, right? I think Pranav recommended one of
So
the
इसमें
videos.
भी एक problem है. Before we move
Right,
ahead, let me just point
right.
it out. इसमें भी एक problem है, which is that the amount of punishment you can hand to a gigantic corporation, which is feeding billions of dollars into political parties and their campaigns, is limited. The amount of
Also,
punishment, there is
sorry,
a
just
reason
to
why
Yeah,
you
add,
don't
so
see.
so that is
There's
that
a
is assuming the system is already corrupt, right? You're saying the
no.
politicians are
I'm
corrupt.
saying,
Yeah.
do you have any example of this perfect kind of free market, perfectly regulated system anywhere on earth?
Right now I don't have, but I don't
Exactly.
think so why it could not exist.
I don't think it will.
uh
For a very basic reason that it's impossible to have like a equal starting condition. So I mean, just humor me here. Like the ceteris paribus conditions for capitalism to work as a free market, and if I even buy your argument about profit being the motivator for innovation, right? The point is that there is like this fair market where everybody is competing with their products and trying to stand out. So the one that is the most innovative and useful for the people will actually win out, right? Is that what capitalism is supposed to do? Basically, from my understanding, it is. But at the same time, there will never be a ceteris paribus condition, right? There will always be inequalities in society. So you cannot implement capitalism unless you have like the same starting point. So like a Dalit person starting a business versus a Brahmin starting a business versus a Marwadi starting a business are all three different starting points,
Yeah,
right?
that
A
like
woman
India
starting a
with the
business, a
extra
man
layers of
starting a business.
complication.
Yeah,
It's not even just about lack of money or having money. In India, there's an extraordinary additional layer of complexity which is added to it because of the caste system.
precisely,
yeah.
precisely.
So
Um,
so the social inequalities, right? There
Hmm.
are ways to solve that, right? Reservation is a way to solve caste system, is to improve the situation of so-called lower caste
Vishal,
people, right?
Vishal,
Yeah.
if your point is that this
Ashish again,
idea,
Vimoh. Yeah.
s- sorry, I'm looking at someone else. Uh, oh
Ash.
yeah, Ashish. Sorry, Vishal is next to
Yeah.
you. Sorry, Ashish. So the if your point is that this idealized capitalism can only work in a world where inequality has been wiped out, then I'm not opposed to it.
Right. So what I'm saying is that capitalism and socialism, right, where you
Hmm.
work on the inequality, solve it, the government
Hmm.
does it,
Hmm.
and you have capitalist systems set in for the corporates to compete in each other and allowing innovations to thrive. They can coexist.
But
I
you
don't
know
think
who
so
else is doing
because
that? Socialism
who?
is doing that.
Not
Removing
not really.
inequalities and,
Socialism.
you
That's
know,
what I'm saying. Capitalism and
welfare.
socialism can coexist.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
but
no.
that's
I
the
think
thing.
it will be better to say that commerce can exist within socialism, because the moment you
Oh
bring in
yeah,
capitalism
yeah,
and
yeah.
corporations, you are looking
Hmm.
at corruption. People
I'm
should not
specifically
get to be
talking
that
about
rich.
removing inequalities, though, through welfare and making things public
Yeah,
utility so that they're freely available. I'm talking about
because
that part of it.
Ashish
Yeah.
mentioned, right, you remove social inequality, right? You remove social inequality, you have a society where commerce can finally happen without any, undue
Yeah.
unfairness, and then you bring in corporation, and instantly you have inequality, because that's an
Yep.
extremely rich guy, an extremely rich corporation. They will try to bring in more inequality to serve their own purposes. Capitalism defeats itself.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh,
That's why
Uh,
this is
so
how
Pranav.
I
late capitalism.
I
don't
haven't
fully
said
agree.
anything
Yeah.
so far. So
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
Pranav has
remember
something to say.
I was Yeah, I remember I was having this conversation with Arif, and the whole time I made a lot of arguments against capitalism,
Hmm.
why capitalism is bad. And I noticed the issue was, if I'm arguing for socialism, it's not, I don't think pointing out the flaws of capitalism is the way to go. We should also say why
Yeah, yeah,
socialism
yeah, yeah.
is good. And
Yeah.
I think you made a point. Both of you made a point here that socialism um, makes everyone equal, and then tries to. You said commerce can happen within a socialist framework. I
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
that makes sense, but it's almost. I think a very good example for this would be the metro system. It's very cheap. It's making only enough profit to be break even,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's meant to be used. It's meant to be accessible. So
Yeah,
I guess my point
by
would be,
everyone.
yeah, I think we should find reasons why socialism is the answer to the flaws of capitalism, rather than
So
just
Fair
falling
enough.
out of
Yeah.
I
the
know,
So
I know,
system.
like
it goes back to the same point, right? I mentioned that they can coexist. That socialism
Yeah,
can
yeah.
address some flaws of the capitalism.
so no, Ashish, I think we already went through that, right? Can you give me an example of a society where no, I mean, I'm like, this is unfair. If I ask you that, if I ask you for hypothetical societies, it's unfair.
Right.
I'm saying,
Right.
can you imagine a society where socialism exists and inequalities don't exist and a corporation exists?
Yeah. So we are assuming we have this image of corporation in mind, right? That hey, when the
No, that
corporation
image is
comes, it
based on
will be
reality. It's not something I'm making
true,
up.
true, true.
It's
So
corporation.
so
That's what
my
corporations are.
my image of corporation is people coming together and trying to achieve a common cause, which is something like an innovation or something.
Got
And
it.
you
Huh, then
have
I'm agreeing with
and
you.
you
That
and
like
you
it's a
have
Hmm.
workplace cooperative.
right. And one more thing, right?
Hmm.
You so
Make that 1 second.
let me take
Yep.
one
Yeah, yeah,
example,
yeah. Go
right?
on, go
So
on, go on.
you have, let's say, so I think Pranav recommended one video on capitalism. I watched that, and in that they make this point that penicillin invention was made in somewhere like 1930s by the scientist, but
Hmm.
it was not until 10 15 years or whatever
Hmm.
that innovation reached the people, and it was capitalism wherein a person came in and they shared this money and allowed this, they mobilized this wealth and allowed the innovation to thrive and reach it to the people of world war who are suffering and dying because of it.
Ashish,
So
that was not because of capitalism. That was because somebody decided the people who are suffering deserve medicine, and even if it costs me loss, I will make it available to them. Because if that example is to be used, I can give you examples of 10 medicines which are really crucial for people's health right now. Cancer medicine, cancer vaccinations, etc., injections, or
Polio
other
vaccine.
things. Yeah,
Yeah,
which
true.
corporations are like,
Polio vaccine.
there have been corporates who have literally openly said our medicine is only for people who can afford it, and they
That's
make the
true.
medicine cost more than most people can afford it.
That I agree. Yeah, that exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think worker cooperatives, great idea. But you're talking about socialism in that case, and that's not capitalism. If the workers own the corporation that they're working for, they will be happier, everyone will be happier, wage inequality will be gone and everything. But that's not a
I
corporation.
I wanted to come in at that point only about how you
Go on. You
define
wanted
the
to say something.
corporation, right? I think I feel like the definition of corporation as a company, or a company specifically I'm talking about, is that it is a legal entity by itself which can have signatures, make deals. It is an artificial person, right? There's a
Right.
reason why it has been created as an artificial person. It is a Chinese wall between the people who are actually have shares of that company and the people, promoters, CEO, etc. So there is this middleman, there is this entity which has been created, which will deal with all regulatory, legal, all the problems, right? So as an entity it will have profits, and those profits will be split to give it to people behind the wall, right?
Got it.
It is a conscious creation of the human mind, which is an imaginary creation to basically sell as a story. That genuinely what I believe a company is, right?
Yeah.
And capitalism is completely based on this as the basic structure. The corporation which you're talking about, it is an entity which has a brand value. It is an entity which has attributes. It is a entity which also has a personality, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you cannot act against the people behind the scenes. It is an actual a conscious choice, so
Yeah,
that
yeah. LLC uska
unfettered
limited
profit is
liability
possible.
corporation bolte hain, because if
Yeah,
the company does something bad, the person can't be held responsible, because the corporation is a legal person. LLC,
precisely.
LLP, जो भी होता है.
So the thing is, I'm not
Ashish,
sure in
hold
that
on, Pranav, hold on.
socialist.
Ashish, do you have any other question? Can I move on to the next
No,
person?
no other question. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
But
cool.
I would
Thank
like
you.
to hear Pranav's thoughts, last thoughts on
You
this.
Uh,
can hear it after I
I
remove you.
was
Is okay?
Sure, that's okay. Yeah.
Cool. Chalo, bye.
I was
Pranav, go
saying
on.
that in a socialist framework, although there's a lot more fairness and equality, and the fact that corporations exist not purely for profit, uh, I think destroys any motivation for innovation.
Why do you say that though?
Uh, I'm sure we can come up with individual examples where people were not motivated by profit. People genuinely wanted to alleviate suffering or whatever. Like the polio vaccine is an example. It was never patented. People all over the world got access because of that. But
Hmm.
apart from those individual examples, uh, doesn't the motivation for innovation, isn't it at least driven down a lot because there's no profit incentive?
Hmm.
Okay, Meghnad, you go first and then I'll say
um
it.
okay, so like, I mean, if you want to ask a basic question, like, innovation is still, it makes me think of a product, right? I'm thinking more on the terms of creativity. So if you look
Yeah.
at it like human creativity, right? So like for example, like I am creating a video or whatever.
Mm.
Like, where did that idea come from? Is it like, I mean, it came from a lot of things, like a lot of exposure to a lot of information, a lot of situations, maybe personal experiences, traveling, all the things. It combines into this ultimate idea which I put out. Some might see it as an innovation, some might see it as a very creative thing that has happened, right? I would say that every innovation is ultimately a result of creativity. So my question then to you, Pranav, is, are you saying that in a socialist setting there will never be an environment, or there are very few environments created which allow for that creativity?
uh, I think if we redefine it as creativity, I think no. But
Hmm.
as innovation, I think maybe yes.
So my
As
point is, my
creativity, creativity optimized for uh, for progress, for innovation, maybe yes.
But
So
you're still thinking in product terms.
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
my
That's what
my
I'm
point is
saying.
my point is Pranav, do you remember we talked about how religion hijacks basic human things?
Yeah.
Mm.
Celebration, community, etc. Innovation is a basic human thing. People were innovating before capitalism. People were building the wheel. People found fire. People will do things to make life easier for themselves and for their community, right? But capitalism, like religion, rides on that. Capitalism tries to claim as if innovation is only possible under it. That is not true. So there is plenty of innovation in there has been innovation in countries which are not capitalist.
I agree with you. There have been innovations. I think
Yeah.
Cuba did a really good job on vaccines, if
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
Innovation
But
can be fueled by profit motive. Yeah, I agree. But innovation does not have to depend on the profit motive in order to happen. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, I agree with that too. It's not black and white, but isn't it mostly motivated by profit?
I
No, I
would
think it is the case that
disagree.
we have mostly seeing it happen that way.
True.
That's where
Also,
Meghnad's product point comes in. We only think of innovation. When we think of innovation, we think of a company bringing out a product. That's why we have gotten into thinking that if there is no company, if there is no one putting making something because of a profit motive, this thing cannot happen. Like we see religious festivals, right? We have only
Mm.
seen people gather together to do religious festivals, so we cannot
hmm.
imagine Comic Con being a festival or something secular being a festival.
Mm.
It's the same is happening here also. It's a mental block. Not saying
And
you have it. I'm saying everyone has it.
yeah, like Shaunak has this point which I thought is interesting. As a researcher myself, knowledge creation is a motivation in and of itself. Most researchers are not motivated by profit, but the joy of research and inquisitiveness.
Yeah, yeah.
That's also a fair point.
Pranav, think about yourself.
Mm.
Would you be making more money if you're working in a corporation right now than you are as a YouTuber?
Dude, I think some of my actions as a YouTuber have some capitalist tune
Yeah,
to
but
it.
but the
Yeah,
motivations are not solely capitalistic, right? You're also doing it for joy and for social, good,
Yeah, yeah,
right? As a
yeah.
corporation, even if,
I
even if
agree
someone
with
said,
that.
"Okay, drop those two motivations, I'll pay you more. Come to my company and work," you will not do it right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
But
that's what my point is.
but at the same time, someone in a company, it's not like they can't have joy in their work and like they want to do it because they like doing it.
Yeah,
That scenario can still happen in a job in a company, right?
yeah. I think the more important question is someone is in a capitalist system. They are getting a hefty salary to do something that they love.
Mhm.
You take the salary away, will they stop?
Probably
They will do it
not.
in some other way,
Yeah, yeah. I
right?
agree with that.
But
See,
you take the joy away, and then
mhm.
you reach your answer. You take, like, there is joy and there is money. Take the money away, the person's joy doesn't go away. They will find some way of doing it, even if they're not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
You take
and
the
to be
joy away.
completely fair, both socialism and capitalism are capable of taking joy away from work. I mean, both of them. Like I said, like if you can either work in a factory or in a corporate setting, but at the ultimately the workplace will grind you down and take the joy away from it.
Right,
Okay,
right.
one more point to defend capitalism,
Hmm, hmm.
and people don't assume I'm a pro-capitalist.
No, no,
I'm somewhere in
everyone,
the
please
middle.
go
I'm
right
no
ahead and
mid.
assume he's a capitalist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, see, also the other thing is that capitalism is a system that allows for self-correction. I think if you think of a system like communism, which had like in Russia, there was the Gulag system
Hmm.
where people were literally taken and forced to work and not even paid. Like, there's no way they can protest and improve that system. It's capitalism which allows for protest and labor unions. You can't unionize and against the government in a communist system.
Oh,
Isn't
capitalism
it?
does not allow for unions.
Tell me about this because I think I
So
don't
okay, so like I think you're
understand this
confusing two things,
enough.
right? Okay, so like
Hold
let's
on,
look
hold
at
on,
it
hold
this
on,
way.
hold on, hold on.
Huh.
Here's the prison system under capitalism. Private prisons in the United States incarcerated 115,428 people in 2019, representing 8% of the total state and federal prison population. Since 2000, the number of people housed in private prisons has increased 32% compared to an overall
Yeah.
rise in the prison population of 3%. This is a corporation making money from prisoners. It's slavery. This happens in capitalism also.
But that's the thing. That's what I was saying, Vimo. I think, Pranav. So when you gave the example of Gulag, is that really socialism or is that authoritarianism? You just think of it this way, right? Like when authoritarianism comes into the picture, it doesn't matter which ideals you're following. Capitalism, socialism doesn't matter, because authoritarianism is about top-down decision making, where certain amount of people will be exploited to give benefits to the people who are in power, and also their followers and everything, right? So that it's like that top down approach, authoritarian. A Gulag, or even the Nazis and how they functioned, right? They might have sort of encompassed their overall functioning with socialism, communism, whatever, what have you, right? But ultimately at the core of it, that is authoritarianism, right? Where it's like top down rule, where people are being exploited. So when you're talking about, let's say, capitalism and socialism, like unions, right? Unions are a form of workers to unite and then ask for their rights, right? There's this podcast I was listening to. Our opinions are correct, right? There is this place in America called Lowell. um, when the mills first came to America, I think somewhere around the 1840, there's this woman, Barbara something, who basically started the first union to fight for the rights of women, but not just women, to reduce the working hours from 12 to 10, right? She formed the first union, gathered a bunch of people, started a small movement, and this was before Marx, by the way. So the thing is that what she wanted was that, because of this new loom and the dangerous machines that we have to operate, and your profit motives and us getting less pay for it, and women got even paid even lesser, there needs to be a concentrated effort of the workers to fight for their fair wage and rights, right? Now that is socialism, according to me, right? Organization, working as a collective, fighting for rights, and also getting profits spread across the board, I think is basically socialism, right?
There is
For a
a comment from Taranga which kind of
Hmm.
explains this a little bit. Hold on. Uh, कहाँ गया?
Yeah, I
ये
think
तरंगा कहाँ
Gulag
गया?
is not an example, good example for socialism.
But that is
The
essentially
Gulag
what
is an
happens,
excuse.
right?
Gulag is an excuse that people use
No, but
for,
Pranav, I
उस
completely
time पे वहाँ पे
understand.
socialism था. Everything
Huh,
bad that happened there was because of
precisely.
socialism. That's what they
The
say.
Precisely.
reason I brought this up is because that was how the conversation went between me and Arif in that podcast. I think I did a bad job of defending socialism, but we'll wait for the podcast to come.
Mhm.
Okay. I
Yeah.
Taranga का comment हाँ ये रहा. Innovation stops being reliant only on the profit motive in the ideal socialist future. Innovation has always existed as per human needs and curiosity. And but in socialism, the doing something you love is not tied to having the basics of life,
Hmm.
because those basics are secured for everyone. No,
Right.
I put Taranga's comment on screen because she has read more about this than any of us
Very
have.
valid. Very valid. So
But
essentially,
let me
what she's
just let
saying.
me let me let me
Hmm.
let me just take 1 minute to do something that I have been waiting to
Oh
do.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Deep and John, thank you for the 449 rupees super chat. Can we call the three of you the unholy trinity from now on? Please,
That's
no
nicer.
trinity, please, no trinity. मुझे Morpheus नहीं बनना.
I'm
Uh,
down. I'm down. I don't care about Vimo. I'm down.
Rath G says, "Is this caller a podcaster too? Sounds like a pro mic and voice sound familiar too." He was talking about Ashish.
Hmm.
Maybe I don't know if Ashish has a podcast. Ashish, do you have a podcast? Let us know. We would like to subscribe and write angry comments. Go on, Meghnad.
Uh, Wait,
You forgot
forgot.
what you
Oh
were
no,
saying?
no. To Taranga's point. To Taranga's
Okay.
point, right? So, that's precisely the point. So, socialism would ensure that your basic needs are fulfilled, so that everything is not seen as something you need to do for profit, like the prison system you said, education, healthcare, etc. Basic needs are basically sorted, And then
Hmm.
when people are secure with their basic needs, I think that creates a perfect environment for innovation. Then capitalism can take over on top of that, is what I think.
Capitalism can take over on top of that.
I mean, sure,
Like
I
within
understand
that,
your point.
like
Huh?
which is the bigger bracket inside which capitalism is? Socialism के अंदर capitalism है या capitalism के अंदर
Socialism forms
socialism?
the base of
हाँ,
basic
yeah, yeah.
needs, right?
Okay, okay.
Socialism forms the base where every basic need is fulfilled, and then on top of it there is capitalism and innovation. Yeah.
That's why I don't like
Gulag
that
ki
song.
aankheं.
Gulag ki
Yeah.
aankheं. Taranga
Someone
says,
said that
I think people need
it's
to look at. Huh?
someone said
Hold on.
that
Let me
Gulag
finish reading
was
this.
a
I
huh,
think people need to look at living examples of socialist states like the Rojava, Rojava. I'm not sure if that's the right
okay.
pronunciation.
Hmm,
Rojava or Rohava, who are anarchist, feminist, socialist.
hmm.
Even I need to look at that. Huh? You were
I
saying?
think there was a fact check. I don't know if this is true. Gulag was an education prison system. It was meant to punish the people who were against socialism.
Yeah.
Pranav?
So even that is that is not a good thing.
Yeah.
People can be against socialism. Why would you need to educate them? It's like China having re-education camps for Muslims or something.
Yeah.
Right. So, people, we are already at the 1 hour 16-minute mark. I will take one more caller. I'm sorry to everyone. I was not counting on these two turning up and this turning into a podcast today. So it's not my fault. Blame Meghnad and Pranav for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Private chat में देखता हूँ. Hold on.
There's a
Uh,
super chat also.
yeah. Amit,
Take
thank you
that
for the
before.
$10 super chat. Late stage capitalism hurts people. It has hurt people from the beginning only. Late stage is when you find out that it is hurting. Late
Late
stage
stage
is when you
capitalism.
finally go to the doctor.
Late stage capitalism is when you give $10 to say this. And Vimoh immediately takes it up.
या सो प्राइवेट चैट में देखता हूँ किसको क्या बात करना था मैं शिरोयाशा को ले रहा हूँ बिकॉज एवरी टाइम ही कम्स आई से तेरे पास सिर्फ 5 मिनट है शिरोयाशा गो ऑन यूर ऑनलाइन
Thanks for taking me. I really wanted to like say
आई
hi.
कांट हियर यू
Hello.
लाउडर
A
प्लीज
little louder.
Oh my god. Is it audible now?
if you have no you're audible but the volume is very low if you have an earphone or something take it out and just talk to the phone
Hold on, give me a minute.
इसीलिए इसको सिर्फ 5 मिनट दिया था अभी तो म्यूट हो गया
Dude, can you take
शिरोयाशा को
Sky?
रिमूव
Has
हाँ
some question about
I'll take
Anticaste.
Sky and then Shiryasha. Shiryasha, until then, can sort out his tech issues. Sky, go on.
Hello, hi guys. Thank you so much. So okay, so सबसे पहले I'll ask Pranav क्योंकि
हाँ.
he called me. So Pranav, I've been following your channel and also Dr. Abby Phillips. उनका भी Twitter I used to follow and then I love his work. Actually, he helped me in some way. में Live 52 मुझे किसी डॉक्टर ने बोल दिया था खाने के लिए and then I read at his Twitter कि Live 52 बकवास दवाई है और को नहीं लेना चाहिए and I didn't take और मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. I actually didn't take. But around अभी उनके साथ जो recent आपका podcast हुई था, okay, I'm sorry. Do you understand Hindi?
Hindi, I understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll speak in English. I'm sorry. So, so I
Yeah.
did listen the recent podcast that you did with Dr. Philip, and I listened his reason for like when he says why Ayurveda doesn't work. It's usually the placebo or the time the disease automatically you get well. I am actually not convinced with this argument, and I mean I could be wrong, and you can't do anything about it
Sky,
that
can
you're
you
not.
speak a little louder or clearer because there's a little bit of background.
There's some echo, I think.
Okay,
No,
I'm actually
some of your words are disappearing and some are coming. Yeah, so speak more clearly.
okay. So,
Yeah,
so
this is better.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's better.
am. So what I'm saying is, I am actually not convinced with the reason that it's just placebo or the disease gets you get well for some reason. Is there? Do you think there are any valid reasons why Ayurveda works? Probably it doesn't work for everybody, but for on certain bodies it works. Like for example, alcohol for me. So I don't drink, okay, but then for few months I did drink, and that's
Mhm.
like for on few days, like in a month maybe thrice or four times. For 3 months I drink, and then I did my blood checkup for some like physical reason, for gym reason, and then I found out that my liver enzymes have increased, AST and ALT, and that's I drink like for 3 months, just for 3 months, and I know people who drink almost regularly and their liver enzymes are perfectly fine. So on
Mhm.
certain body types, does Ayurveda work, and on others it doesn't work? Could these be reasons, or it's just placebo? Like, what do you think about it?
So, Ayurveda doesn't work is not what we say. It's it's that if Ayurveda works, we don't know it does, because
Yeah.
those trials are not done on a proper randomized controlled trial. So let's say you're saying that what if Ayurveda, what if a certain Ayurvedic medication works on some person, maybe it doesn't have the same effect on someone else. So
Right.
how about this? How about we take a bunch of people? Uh, Obviously, there will be individual variation across the group, but over the whole group, on average, if it works, then we'll have a better improvement of symptoms on that group, right?
Hmm.
That's what randomization is. Such trials where medicines are tested against another group where they're not given the actual medication, the improvement, the difference in improvement is not clearly obvious. So we're not able to say if Ayurvedic this medicine is actually effective. Now, you cannot make a conclusion like this by looking at an individual case. So a person might have some symptoms, they might take something Ayurvedic, and they might see an improvement in their symptoms. But this is not enough to conclude that the improvement was caused by the medicine. It
Right.
could be because maybe over time they got better, maybe with something else they ate, maybe
Hmm.
their doctor asked them to continue their modern medicine, whatever. So the issue to your question, the answer to your question is that we are not able to determine or conclude an answer to that question because we don't have proper, well designed RCTs that show you efficacy. Now, if such RCTs shows efficacy of any Ayurvedic drug, of course, the whole entire scientific community, medical committee would more than gladly accept this as treatment for whatever condition. But
Okay.
we are not able to do that because those tests don't exist.
Okay, like up till now it didn't exist, but then like the government has a Ministry of Ayush. So are they now doing it? Like
There
Uh,
is
from
a
here on,
ministry, but are there tests?
are
That's the
they are
question.
they doing tests now, like from now onwards, and trying to
there
prove
are
that this
tests,
was
there are tests, but what they do is, see, there is a body whose sole objective is to popularize,
okay,
not to actually research
Investigate.
and
Yeah.
find out
okay, okay,
good reasons to popularize it, good reasons why it's beneficial for the health of its citizens. It just wants to popularize no matter what the cost. And
So you are saying that
often,
the testing system is basically a PR mechanism?
kind of, kind of.
How does that work? Sorry.
So what they do is they design tests in such a way that the results of the tests are in favor of the medicines. So maybe they might take a smaller sample. They might test on diseases that might otherwise heal by themselves. Like say COVID-19, you will, uh, if your symptoms are mild, you will naturally get better no matter if you take medicine or not. So, to such people, such asymptomatic people, they'll give medicines like Coronel and say, "Oh, look at our
Coronel.
medicine! It cured so
Yeah.
many people." And so the
So by the
problem
way,
is that,
sorry, self plug. We broke that story. We broke that story of
oh,
Coronel
okay,
being
okay,
fake. Yeah, yeah. Just
congrats,
sorry. Go on,
congrats.
go on. Self plug
So,
kar raha tha. Go on. Sorry.
yeah. So yeah, a lot of studies are there in the CCRA's web portal, which is the Ayush Ministry portal for all the studies, all the repository and everything. But the problem is they're not published in reputed journals with proper peer review. So what they end up having is, hey, look at this study. They have a bunch of studies that they can point to show you that, hey, this study showed positive results for this medicine. But people will overlook whether that was a robust, well designed study and all that. So that's the issue
In fact,
actually.
I would recommend that people go to Pranav's second channel, which is just Pranav Radhakrishnan, and watch his most recent video where he's reacting to someone making a video about his original video on Ayurveda and the callousness with which they treat evidence. Like, honey, this journal is a predatory journal, but what is a predatory journal really? So, please do watch that video. And also the
Yeah,
original
sure.
video
I wouldn't.
in reaction to which that video was made.
I'd recommend a
Sure.
different video. Like if you wanna just
You did one on
learn what
Ayush, right?
Yeah.
Ayush,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one with
that
Ayush.
was
Yeah, yeah.
a long video in which I
Hmm.
properly I asked experts on what actually is happening in the alternative healthcare system, and it's a very long deep dive. Properly, I've analyzed everything. I'd recommend my video on Ayush on the
Hmm.
main channel. But if you wanna be entertained, yeah, what Vimo said, it's also a
Yeah, thank you.
entertaining video. But yeah,
Thank you. I have few more questions if you have time. Can I ask?
Sky,
yeah.
we don't have
I
time.
mean,
Honestly, I want to take Shiryasha. I want to take Shiryasha.
Okay, okay, sure.
You can ask Pranav on Instagram. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer.
Okay,
yeah,
well, it's
just
actually political
DM
question I wanted to ask Vimo
Instagram.
and Meghnad.
What is
So,
it? What is the topic?
it's a reservation,
And what is the position?
and so my position is so actually I uh, the way the currently I understand what Supreme Court says about reservation when somebody is has like economically they are doing good, and then Supreme Court says that even if you are doing economically well, you are still that caste and you face that
Yeah,
discrimination.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
totally agree with that. I totally agree with
Okay.
that. But then I feel like it's counterproductive. I mean, logic, I get it, but I feel it's counterproductive if you just compare giving that reservation to other people of the same caste who are like not doing well. And so, like, what can could this be
You
discussed?
just said
Like,
you agree with the position of the Supreme Court.
I agree with the position, but then the other thing that I think that is it counterproductive? Like it's a question that I often think
Counterproductive how?
about
For whom is it counterproductive? What is it
for
hindering?
people of the like lower other people of this lower caste who are
Uh-huh.
not economically well. Like so, I
Okay, so
understand
this is
some.
a familiar. So have you seen any video on this channel about caste before?
No, I have not. I'm sorry.
Have you seen any reel of mine about reservation before?
No, I'm not.
So I have addressed all of this. If you have any doubts, I think
Hmm.
there is a playlist on this channel called Caste Conversations.
Okay.
Uh, go ahead and watch it. It's a bunch of conversations that I've had on this live stream with people about caste reservation. There is a
Hmm.
bunch of reels on my Instagram account also. If you still have the same question, please do come back next Saturday and we will talk about it. आज
Sure.
टाइम नहीं होगा इसीलिए बोल रहा हूँ.
Okay, fine. I mean, I have one more question, but मैं अगली बार पूछूंगा.
हाँ अगली बार पूछ लेना. Thank
Sure,
you भाई.
sure. Thank
Thanks
you. Thank you so much.
Sky. Bye bye. So that was Sky, and I'm sorry for hurrying through it, guys, because I think I want to end by 9:30, and it's already 9:20. So
Yeah.
right,
Yep.
hold on. Let me just remove Sky. Let's see who else I can take. I'll take Shiryasha because he was waiting. Shiryasha, go on.
Hey, is it better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll start. So yeah, it's good to see all of you together because I think I started following you guys around the same time, which was I think in 2020 with the COVID
Okay.
period. So I got into
Okay.
News Laundry, Vimoh, and Sciences Dope at the same time.
अच्छा तब
Finally,
तक नहीं
took
देख रहे थे
3.
मतलब.
उस टाइम तक उतना डीपली नहीं था, तब टाइम ही टाइम था ना
अच्छा
फिर तो.
अच्छा
So उसके
मतलब हम लोग
so
टाइम पास है
nice.
मतलब.
हाँ.
Hey, Vimoh, I think even you started streaming around the same time, right?
Okay.
Right.
I
Okay, cool.
started around 2020 on this channel. Before that, I was only on Instagram. But go on.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I didn't know Pranav and Meghnad would also be joining when उनके लिए भी questions लेके आता
Even
मैं
I didn't
अलग
know
से.
that. Imagine my surprise.
It's great. Cool. So first of all, one thing that just struck me during the conversation was when the theist argue about God, right? One
Hmm.
argument that just struck me right now is I had went to debate with a couple of people I both knows. So there are the same set of people that Pranav try to debunk Pranav, right? The video that you
Hmm.
just mentioned, it's from the same set of people. I had went into a debate with them, into a theist debate, and the debate stopped at a point where they were claiming that if there is a universe, there must be a creator, right? Because there
Hmm.
cannot be a creation without a creator.
Hmm.
But right now, it just occurred to me that they are themselves faltering at a point. The base of the
Hmm.
argument is that God cannot have a creator, otherwise, that would go into an infinite
Yeah.
digression, right?
It's a
Hmm.
But
special pleading fallacy.
exactly. But it's
Yeah.
also counterintuitive, right? Because if you're assuming that God does not have a creator, then why can't universe not have a creator? Universe can
Yeah.
also exist, right,
Yeah. Yeah.
outside.
Exactly.
So the argument falls apart. It just struck me
My,
right now. It didn't
my
struck me.
my favorite is when they say that something cannot come from nothing. So the question is, does something exist? Yes.
Exactly.
So it must have come from something, and that something must have come from something, and that something must have come from something. If you are saying that something cannot come from nothing, then you are literally saying that infinite regress is possible.
Yeah.
Like something
Also,
has
one
always
point I
come
want
from
to make.
something.
Yeah.
Uh,
Huh.
one point I want to make. I'll just go right now to my door after that. But see, the moment you call the universe a creation,
Yeah.
automatically you're smuggling in a creator,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? That's yeah. So I'll just be
Meghnad
back
kharab
from
ho
my
gaya.
door.
Meghnad is a theist who has fallen into bad company. Okay, Pranav, let Pranav come back.
I'm
Before
not a
until then,
theist. I'm yeah. I mean, yeah. We had
agnostic
this
theist, hai na?
conversation.
You're an
Agnostic
agnostic
theist.
theist.
Yes. Yes.
So Sagar says, and maybe Meghnad can weigh in on this. Anand Ranganathan tweeted, the statements made by DMK ministers is in contempt of the Supreme Court order of April 2023. Do you agree?
What is the Supreme Court order
I
of
have no idea, and I
2020?
don't care because Anand Ranganathan is the guy who went on Beer Biceps podcast and said, if the court is not taking any action against so-called bulldozer justice, then clearly they must be doing something right, right? So by that same logic,
Oh yeah.
this statement
Hmm.
can also not be questioned by him. If the court has not done anything against them, then surely they must have done something right, right? Ulluka, Ulluka library.
Ullu.
Never
Ullu.
mind. Sagar, thank you for the 100 rupees. Much
We
appreciated.
had a
Huh.
sorry, just to add to that. So we had like a very heart to heart session about Anand Ranganathan on my members only live stream today.
Yeah.
Like because I have encountered him in multiple places. Like I mean, News Laundry may he
Huh, I
was
know, I know.
with News Laundry, and then we had this
Was this the
famous.
encounter where he said? Was this the encounter where he said truce, truce?
Yeah. No. Later, oh yeah. There was one, but the other one was when I had like a very public, like spat with him on
As in
Twitter,
physically?
which was
Oh,
no,
Twitter.
Twitter
Okay,
पे
okay.
Twitter. आनंद रंगनाथन से पंचिंग करके थोड़ा मजा आता बट लाइक आई मीन नो वो नहीं हुआ but yeah, so like we had a very big heart to heart about Anand Ranganathan and what we think about him, which is not to be
Okay.
mentioned in public.
Yeah, members only, members only. People for such high quality members only content, please join Meghnad's
Yeah,
channel.
intimate
Shreya Asha.
intimate
Shreya Asha ko bhul
Yeah.
gaya. Sorry, Shreya Asha, go on.
Yeah. Second point regarding the discussion that we're just having, capitalism versus socialism. So one
Huh.
thing I'd like to point out. So Pranav, if you're saying that you're not a capitalist, by scientific method, I think we should first assume that you are, and then we should do a regression and do all those tests to disprove that you are not actually, right?
Oh, is this sarcasm or is this actual?
It is sarcasm, but also isn't this the basis of the scientific
But do
argument,
you have
right?
any
To make a
evidence to
claim.
suggest that Pranav is a capitalist?
No, but he was saying, right, that assume that I'm not. So I'm saying let's assume that you are, and then let's try to prove that you're not.
Oh, that way, huh? क्या इसको
Yeah.
क्या बोलते हैं? Null what?
Uh, it's basically testing, falsifying,
Ha ha
and
ha.
testing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Basically, you try to falsify your
But
own claim,
uh,
and if you can't, even after rigorous testing, then you have to accept it.
I think the simple
but
method is that Pranav does not
that
have capital.
Yes.
हम सब गरीब हैं.
I wish
Capitalism is
that
for those who
wasn't
have
true.
capital. Huh?
I wish that wasn't true.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh, so, um so Shiro, what I'd like to say is that the initial assumption itself that you make in the scientific method must come from an observation. So you
Yeah.
observe something and then you make a hypothesis. So,
Yeah.
do you have
So
an
here I'm
initial
going.
observation?
No, so here I'm going it in a reverse manner. I want to prove that you are not a capitalist. That's why I'm assuming that you are,
Then it
because you
doesn't
yourself
matter
said.
what you assumed, right? Like
Yeah.
you can assume either way that I am or I'm not.
Yeah, it wasn't
And
just.
then,
It wasn't just.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
if
No,
I
so
had
coming
to,
to
Shiro,
the
if I
actual
still,
point.
if I still had to offer up like an objective thing for you to work with, the fact that Pranav keeps batting for this whole innovation comes from capitalism, that's a great starting point.
But I also defended socialism. I
Sure,
see, we will come to
sure.
that conclusion after we watch your podcast with Arif.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
to add to that thing, so there's this thing called a political compass, right? Where you don't just look at
Yeah.
left or right, but you look
Yeah.
at those three axes. So when you define capitalism or socialism, does it fall on one axis or does it fall in the that spectrum
So
where you
did you take
have
that compass quiz and where do you stand? Where are you on that quadrant?
I don't remember Meghnad actually, but I think I was
Okay.
kind of a progressive, individualistic libertarian, I guess.
Libertarian. So
Yeah.
I'm like in the bottom left, like near the center, right? Which is so I mean the whole point of the quadrant is that there is economic and there is social, right? So
Yeah.
it's like basically a mix of both. So you can be economically left, but you can be socially maybe like I mean what is defined as the right. So that is one quadrant, or you can be both left, right? So I'm more
Yeah.
leaning towards both left. I
So
think
I'm
if Pranav takes this quiz, Pranav, you actually should take this. Oh, what we can do is, guys, please let's do this. Let's, Vimoh, we should do a stream where Pranav takes the
I get
political
it. समझ
compass
गया. तुम्हारे
quiz.
बोलने से पहले मैं समझ गया. हर चीज को स्ट्रीम बनाना होता है तुमको.
Guys,
करते हैं ना, ठीक है. Cool, cool.
I
so
don't deny
I
that I
हाँ?
have some capitalist notions and let's say tendencies because I come from such a background. Like I come from a college where everyone tries for those MNC companies with the highest paying jobs. So
Yeah.
I have been in environments that foster this kind of thought a bit, and for me it was a journey of discovery to learn how there are these flaws in capitalism there, and I slowly shifted more towards socialism. And now I've heard some arguments why capitalism can be better with all these regulations and everything. And even I'm on a journey of
Mixed.
trying to understand by
Yeah, yeah.
debate and discussion. And yeah,
yeah.
It's
So
never a
to
good idea to arrive at a destination when it comes to ideology, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's always
Mhm.
great to be on a constant journey because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
where the fun is.
yeah.
Like if you arrive at a destination, you are defined and then you can't change. It's like it sucks.
Basically, spend
yeah.
your entire life inside a bus.
Yeah.
Never
All
arrive at any destination. सर यहाँ पे उतरना है क्या? नहीं नहीं. Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
अरे
Yeah. So
हम
so
तो फकीर
Meghnad,
आदमी है झोला लेके निकल पड़ेंगे.
हाँ, पर
यही
आपके पास
plan.
टिकट के पैसे नहीं है अब. And then you accuse the conductor of being a capitalist and jump out the window. Ah, Shreya, go on.
Yeah. So to summarize what Meghnad asked, right? If I have to summarize it in a wordplay manner, I would say that my ideology lies where my heart is, a little left to the center.
Hmm.
That's it.
Ah,
Right now,
interesting.
the bus is parked over there. We'll see where we'll go.
I'll
We'll
tell you
get into it.
honestly, if I took that test a couple of years ago, I would have been a capitalist. But in the last
Really?
by couple, I mean like 4 or 5 years. Yeah. 4 or
I
5
have
years में
to.
पिछले साल मैं like I think on a genetic level I have changed so much over the last decade that it's hard to say when exactly what change happened. but my interactions with people, my conversations with people like Taranga, etc., they have affected me to such a great degree with respect to almost every aspect of my social understanding of who I am and where I stand in society. That यही टेस्ट वो जो तुम लोग जो पॉलिटिकल इंडेक्स का बात कर रहे थे ना, कंपास, सॉरी,
Compass.
if I had taken it 10 years ago, I would have been 10 years क्या 6-7 साल पहले भी, it would have been a very different result
And Vimoh, would you also have been conservatist
with respect to what?
Conservative, yeah.
in this
Socially
spectrum?
conservative.
Socially conservative.
I was a right winger, you remember?
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
सब reformed
So,
बैठे यहाँ पे.
Hmm.
Okay, final point. So I saw two reaction videos on the whole Stalin controversy from Devdutt on Akash's channel.
Hmm.
Have you gotten a chance to see it?
No.
I saw the thumbnail. Did I click on it? I don't remember. Have you guys seen it?
No.
So what was it?
Yeah,
Tell us.
like you can watch it. It's like a 30-minute. I'll give you a brief 30-minute span. Then I also watched a video from Acharya Prashant. Okay, so
Okay.
basically both of them, I'll give you the common points. What they're trying to do is they try to differentiate between Sanatan versus Hinduism versus Hindutva, and they try to defend Sanatan in a way. What they're trying to say is a person who is casteist is not a Sanatani, and that's how they try to defend the Sanatan. And then Acharya Prashant obviously plugs in into his Vedantika Gyan and saying that Vedant mein all this is not there. So anyone who is doing this is not a Sanatani, and they can call themselves a Hindu. And again, Hindu does not have any other meaning because it's like a geographical. It has its origin in the
Neither word
geography.
does.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Devdutt's Acharya Prashant का video मुझे नहीं पता. I don't know what he said, but I can imagine what he must have said. Devdutt's
Yeah.
video,
So
I think I did click on the thumbnail. I have a slight understanding of his position. His position tends to come from an academic understanding of these things. My position seems to come from more of a socio-political understanding of these things. And from that,
yeah.
I can tell you that the word Hindu is not in the Vedas or the Bhagavad Gita. The word Sanatan is, but the Sanatan Dharma phrase is not there. Sanatan simply means eternal. They have taken that word and they have turned it into Sanatan Dharma concept sometime in the 19th century. Neither of these are
Yeah.
eternal. Neither of these are even very old concepts.
Yeah.
Acha, sorry to
One
interrupt. I have to run.
Huh.
I'm going.
Oh,
But
okay.
this was fun, guys. I will do this again at some point. Bye,
Cool.
Pranav. Bye, Vimoh.
Bye, Meghnad.
Right.
Bye.
bye. Yeah. So
That
one good
was
thing
on that
that
point. Hmm.
Yeah, one good thing that Prashant did was he actually gave some insight into Periyar also. So he gave
Okay.
Periyar's whole background and he explained why people in Tamil Nadu think the way they think. So that part I
Hmm.
liked, but again, it's no use if
Okay.
you try
I
to
haven't
plug
seen
in the
Acharya Prashant's video, so I should not
yeah.
probably comment on it. But
Yeah,
I'll
so
check it
I
out.
would
I'll
want
check out both
I
the
would like you
videos.
guys to watch. Yeah, and
I
then we
will. I
can
will. I will.
discuss.
I will. ठीक है.
Cool.
Thank you,
That's all.
Shirasha.
That's all. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks.
I hope you got
Bye.
more than 5 minutes this time.
Yeah.
Even though I
Thank you.
बीच में थोड़े time के लिए I forgot because I can't see people on screen these days.
Bye,
I
Shiru.
forget that sometimes people are there.
Bye,
So
Shiru.
that was by Shiroyasha. That was Shiroyasha. And that was the last guest, guys. I won't be able to take anyone else. It's already 9:30. I apologize to there are see don't raise your fingers. I can't take anyone because there are like 3 people there. I can't take anyone. I'm so sorry. We'll talk next Saturday. So please remove yourself from the queue. I'll have a few last minute conversations with Pranav and then we will end the stream. What's up, Pranav?
See you.
Are we,
So, man, wait, are we still live?
Yes, we are live.
Yeah, man. It
can
was
talk for a
great
couple of
doing
minutes.
this.
We don't
I
have to.
just randomly, I had your stream open on the
Acha.
window, next window, and I was just writing my next script. And I thought, hey, why not just pop in? I didn't know Meghna would come. So he came and it turned out
I
to
don't know
be
why miraculously like there is a WhatsApp group which has me, Pranav, and Meghnad in it, and it has the display picture is Sadhguru's face. So if you guys had told me in the WhatsApp group, hey, we want to drop in, I would have totally made space for you. But it's okay that you drop in without announcing.
What's so
Also,
fun
it's
in
totally
that?
your choice. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to do this to your live stream next time.
Okay. But I probably won't take callers. I probably won't even do a live stream because I know it's getting. Okay, we'll have this conversation.
We'll talk about this after the stream ends. And with that, the live stream ends.
Yeah.
Let me just remind you, if you want to support the channel, please, no more callers today. Thank you. I want to remind everyone that if you want to support the channel, you can do so in the super chat. I mean, you can't do it anymore because the video is ending. But if you're watching this at a later point of time, you can click on the thanks button below and leave a contribution of any amount of your choice. You can also support the channel by becoming a member by clicking the join button below. You can also go to my website at www.vimoh.in and click the support button there and make a contribution of any amount of your choice. It's a one-time payment, no membership. Also, there is UPI because all of these methods take a cut. UPI, whatever you send, comes to me directly. So Vimoh at UPI is the handle. VIMOH at the rate UPI. Thank you in advance for all the support that you guys have shown. And today was a very weird stream because these two joined in. And I will see you on Wednesday at 8 p.m. when we will take more callers. Until then, please take care of yourselves and thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.